Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, and I thought that today we'd kind of do a little recap of yesterday and then go into really kind of focusing on one particular aspect of the body. Hopefully, you've had a good start to your week. And let's go ahead and get started with this. So yesterday we talked about a three-dimensional breath. So this idea of breathing into the front, the sides, and the back of the body. But before all that, we started with a little exercise where I had you lying on your back and you were really listening into your breath and kind of feeling how and listening how the breath sounds a little bit like a wave. So I thought we'd start there. So maybe just allow your eyes to close for a moment so that you can, again, just let your thoughts settle and let your mind just arrive in this space. If you need to move around to make yourself more comfortable in this seated position, then you can go ahead and do so. If you need any cushions around, any cushions to sit on or anything like that, then just make sure that you can let yourself be comfortable as possible as you're sitting here. So again, just taking a moment to clear your mind, to get really comfortable in being in this space. What's nice about you joining me here in this particular situation is that you don't have anyone watching you. So you can really do whatever you need to make yourself feel safe and comfortable in your own space, in your own environment. So with that idea, begin to settle your mind onto your breath. Quite like to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the open mouth. See if that works for you this morning. And see if you can get back into that sense of, if you were to be on a buoyant body of water, a warm body of water that was supporting you, could you almost hear and feel how your breath sounds really similar to a wave moving and crashing? So getting really intimate with the sound of your own breath. And the texture, how smooth and raspy is your breath this morning. Maybe the temperature of it as well. Breathing in the cool air and allowing the warm air to escape. So just beginning to be aware of all of these cool features of the breath. So yesterday we talked about this three-dimensionality, front, back, sides of body. Today we're really just going to focus on the front of the body. So you can open your eyes again, and I just want you to really start to think about where your breath is coming into your front of your body. So place one hand onto your chest over the heart and the other hand onto the belly, and you're just going to take a few breaths like that. And just notice for yourself now, where is that breath more coming into? Is it the top hand or the bottom hand? So notice, does your hand on your chest lift a little bit higher than the hand on the belly is coming out? Just notice that for yourself. Then I'm going to ask you to take both hands onto your belly now. And remembering that, there's nobody watching you, there's nobody around. So we really just want to let your belly kind of hang out into your hands. Let it get just really comfortable so that you can start to breathe a little bit deeper and allow the breath to come into your belly area. We've got lots of organs that live in this space around where you're, beneath where your hands are resting. So you've got your large intestine, your small intestine, your pancreas, your spleen, and then just above all of that, you've got your stomach and your liver. So lots going on in this area. And what happens when we are taking more shallow breaths is that we're not really giving this a lot of space to really move and allow our organs to sit comfortably here. So we really want to start to encourage some more room and some more space here. So really see if you can start to expand your breath into your hands, into your belly. Just notice for you whether this is, how comfortable you are with this. A lot of people get a bit self-conscious about having like extra fat and flub here, but you know what? We need some of that fat to protect these vital organs that we have sitting here. And, there's this fine balance of, whether we think we have too much or too little there. But really, I think it's important to accept and love the body that we have. And part of that is just getting really comfortable with where we are right now. So again, just as you're breathing, see if you can start to be sort of really aware of all of those organs there and just allowing that breath to come in and to massage and to really allow for space in that area. And then I want you to try a little experiment here. So see what happens when you just start to slump down and kind of be in this position that we get into at the end of the day when we're sitting at our desks, we're tired, and we're just like, oh, you've had enough, and you're ready to just kind of let everything hang over and down and slump forward. And just notice what that does for all this area where your vital organs sit. Notice how they get kind of cramped up and crunched up. There's not a lot of room for those organs to really have much space. So then what I want you to imagine is that we could create as much space here for the organs as possible. Maybe that would just encourage you to kind of sit as tall as possible on your sitting bones so that you can give your organs this nice space to sit into your pelvis. You could allow for your ribs to lift a little bit more up off away from these organs. Your shoulders could just roll back a little bit, and then your head could just sit on top of everything else. And just notice the difference that creates for this particular area. Now take a couple of deep breaths and really see if you can experience the fullness, the length, the space that you've created in that area, just from expanding and lengthening from the seat of the pelvis all the way up. Morning, Rod. Nice to see you. So just taking a couple more breaths into the space where all those important vital organs are resting. Expanding and just allowing that space to fill up with that fresh oxygen and air. And then I'm going to have you come onto your hands and your knees. So if you're uncomfortable being onto your hands for too long, your wrists get uncomfortable for any reason, You can always take your hands out a little bit further and just lean back into your knees and your legs a little bit more so that you're taking some of that pressure off. But otherwise, see if you can be right over your hands with your shoulders, and right over your knees with your hips. And from here, all you're going to do is really, again, just let your belly hang out and hang down. See if you can let all of those vital organs just get a little bit heavier towards the floor. And we're going to take a few deep breaths into that, into the front of the body, into the belly. Just making sure this isn't coming into your lower back. So if you need to have a little wriggle around to make that a little bit more comfortable, go ahead and do so. We're going to start to add in a little bit of movement. So you've breathed a nice big deep breath into your belly. Now with your exhalation, we're going to start to tip the tailbone down to the floor. We did this movement yesterday, but rather than just keeping it to the pelvis, we're going to invite the rest of the spine to follow. So now you're letting your crown of your head also drop right down to the floor. You're pressing the ground away with your hands. And then with your next breath in, you're going to let your tail untuck. You're going to let your belly hang down really low, and then slowly let your spine just follow so that your gaze comes right up in front of you. Nice big deep breath in. Let your belly hang down and breathe right into that space. And then as you exhale, tuck your tail. Let your spine just follow. And your head, crown of your head will just hang down to the floor as well. Nice big deep breath in. Begin to untuck the tail. Allow the belly space to just get really heavy towards the floor, and take a couple of breaths into those vital organs. And then again, exhaling to let the tail just drop down to the floor. Let the crown of the head just drop down to the floor. Have this lovely stretch up towards the ceiling. One more time, we're going to breathe in, untuck the tail, let the belly hang right down towards the mat. And get this lovely sense of length through the whole of the front of the body. And then you're going to come back to your neutral position of the spine. So from here, we're going to come back down to the mat. This time we're going to start lying onto the belly. And again, you're going to just allow your head to be nice and heavy onto your hands, just resting. I won't have my head resting there, or else you wouldn't be able to hear me. But just see if you can let your head rest and the neck muscles just be completely switched off, so that you don't have to do any work here to keep yourself in this position. You're just going to start to take a couple of deep breaths. Now you get a real sense and awareness of where the front of your body is. You're lying onto your front. So see if you can really start to, again, draw your attention, your awareness to those vital organs. Breathing some space. It might be a little bit more of a challenge now that you're resting and lying onto your front, but see if you can just start to expand that belly into the mat. Really trying to think about filling the space of your mat with your breath. And then from here, you're just going to have that little rock from side to side of the pelvis. Still breathing nice deep breaths right into the bottom of the belly. And then you're just going to allow the pelvis to settle. You're going to start to think about lengthening out through both legs. They're going to bend and fold and then straighten. So same movement that we did yesterday, just bending and straightening the legs. Inhaling to straighten and exhaling to bend. And you're just feeling how the front of your body is affected by this movement of the legs. And if you thought a little bit more about just letting everything else just switch off as your legs were moving, you might feel how this movement translates up the spine and maybe even just affects the movement of the head a little bit. So see if you can feel that for yourself, allowing the muscles of the body to switch off as your legs are moving. And then we'll start to take this around into a circle. So we're going over to the right and then down towards the floor, up and around towards your bum again. Round into this nice big circle. Again, just feeling how this movement affects the front of the body as your legs are moving, drawing a big circle onto the ceiling, one direction, and then we'll change it around. Go back the other way. So you're breathing, you're moving, seeing how the pelvis responds by drawing a circle onto the front of your mat. Maybe you'll just feel that your head moves into a tiny circle as well, because you've let the muscles of the rest of the body just relax. And then take that circle back around the other direction. One more time, just improving the quality and the shape of that circle the more and times that you go around it. And then you're going to straighten out the legs. This time we're going to only really reach through one leg. Feel how you can almost pick that leg up off of the floor by reaching it out underneath you. And then you're going to allow it to take off and just lift over the other leg. So we're just breathing a little bit of space into that side of the body. And then allow that leg to come down. We're going to pick up through the other leg, pick it up and over. Just opening up through the front of that hip, allowing for a little bit more space for those organs. And then just place that leg back onto the ground. Settle yourself back into your mat. Then you're just going to allow your head to disconnect away from your hands. Slide your hands so that they're next to your rib cage, with your fingertips pointing forward, your elbows pointing up. And we're just going to start a little bit of movement through the shoulders, just to get them moving, just to get them warmed up a little bit. And then next time that you're just allowing your shoulders to slide down the back, elbows to slide down towards your heels, you're going to allow the front of your body to start to peel away from the mat. And we're letting those organs stay really heavy into the floor so that really it's only your heart space that's lifting up and your gaze is staying forward. And then as you're exhaling, just allow yourself to slowly peel back down. And again, you want to allow your shoulders, your elbows to slide away. Feel your belly getting heavy. Take a big deep breath in. See if you can create some more space for those organs. We're lengthening the front of the body here, really creating more space. And then coming back down. And do that twice more. Breathing as you move to give yourself as much space in the front of the body as you can here. And down. Make sure this isn't coming into the lower back. Think about lengthening your tailbone away, making those organs heavy as you come up. Beautiful. And then coming back down. Go ahead and just press yourself back into your child's pose. You can let your knees be really heavy and your toes be closer together so that you can just rest into this position. Again, giving lots of space and room for your organs just to hang down in between your knees. Just spend a bit of time here and allow for that to happen. Allow for a little bit of weight and heaviness to come through the body, through the lower back, so that you can give the space to the front of your body just to have a little bit of room to expand. And then coming back up onto hands and knees, I'm just going to start to really come forward and come back, trying to keep the spine in a nice neutral position, a bit like the movement that we were focusing on yesterday. Again, a nice bit of moving around the limbs. And then you're going to come back to center. Come up to your seated position now. And again, if you have any cushions around, anything to make yourself really sit comfortably, then go ahead and just get yourself set up really well. So as we kind of move into the meditation part of the practice, I really want you to, as you started, just bring yourself into a comfortable seated position. So again, nobody's watching you, so you can really just feel safe and comfortable. This is 30 minutes for you to just spend on yourself, to really focus your mind and settle some self-care onto yourself and make you feel really good. So just set yourself up for that. And then you're just going to allow your eyes to begin to settle and close once again. And you're just going to start to notice the breath once again. Notice after 20 minutes of just focusing on expanding the breath a little bit deeper into the body, how that might have just given you a little bit more ease through that area. So we're going to do a body scan through the front of the body. We're going to start from the crown of the head, so the top of the forehead. I'm going to scan right down through the forehead, past the right eye, the right side of the nose, and the right side of the mouth. And then past the left eye, the left nose, and the left side of the mouth. And then you're going to scan down through the front of the throat, through the front of the right shoulder, down through the top of the right arm, the right elbow, the right forearm, and the right hand. Going to scan down through the left shoulder, the top of the left arm, the elbow, the forearm, and the left hand. And then scanning right down through the chest. Spending a bit of time just to bring your awareness to this important part of the body, the chest, and then the abdomen, and then again to the belly. And then scanning down through the front of the pelvis, the front of the right thigh, the knee, the right lower leg, and the right foot. And then the front of the left thigh, then the left knee, the left lower leg, and the left foot. So we're doing this scan with the awareness that from day to day our body is changing. It's the only thing that we can count on is that everything is always constantly shifting and changing. This can be really empowering because it means that each new day we can approach with a fresh mindset and a fresh appreciation that things can be different, that we have the power to change the day and really take control of our lives. So for the next 5 minutes, I just want you to really see if you can settle your mind, settle your thoughts. As we sit in silence, it might be helpful to start to count your breaths. So as you breathe in, you reach the top of your breath, and then as you begin to exhale, you're going to count that breath as 1. and then you breathe in. As you reach the top and start to breathe out, you'll count that breath as 2. So you're counting your way all the way up to 10. Once you reach 10, then you start over and you count the breaths again. So for the next 5 minutes, just counting rounds of 10 breaths. See how you get on with that. We'll begin that now. It's easy to let the mind wander, so if it has started to wander, just begin to bring it back to counting each breath, beginning at 1 again if you need to. And then just beginning to bring your awareness back into the room, just feeling textures with your fingers, maybe notice around, Giving the shoulders a little circle around, and then slowly opening your eyes. And I really hope that you have a wonderful day today. Hopefully just keeping in mind how we can keep giving that space to the organs a little bit more room. So if you're sitting into your chair, maybe sitting a little bit more upright, just to allow for some more room for your really important organs. Thanks, guys. I hope you can join me again here tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Have a good day.